2020. And what's most exciting is this is kind of is the tip of the iceberg. There are many more things that we have in store, but we're just going to have to let folks learn about those as they come out, and we'll continue those in 2020 and beyond, huh?
Yeah, that's right, Jim. We do have a lot in store, many new things coming, and we're going to continue to give our members new, bigger, and better ways to build the business. So many congratulations to you and the marketing team for doing a fantastic job.
Thanks, David. I really appreciate that. And I know the marketing team does as well. And now you, I know, have some exciting information that I'm not sure, some of it I'm not sure you've shared with anybody, but you've got some fantastic breaking news relative to studies that have just completed. And it's time for you to do that. I'm going to jump away and we'll circle back here in 20 or 25 minutes.
That sounds great. Thank you, Jim.
You bet.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. And Jim and I wish that we could be there with you in Taiwan. But we'll definitely look forward to seeing you in the future when air travel becomes practical again. But I do want to take this time to share with you some very exciting results that we're getting in our clinical studies that are showing new benefits of X39. Now, I did want to show you some new testimonials that we've received in lately. In case you haven't seen them, I can tell you there's 2 testimonials here that you have not seen. But I wanted to start with this, this first one. This is one of our members in Australia, and she's been using X39 for the past year. And you can see very clearly that during the first 6 weeks, she was very excited about the results that she was experiencing. A significant reduction in the appearance of lines and wrinkles around her eyes and even around her mouth.
Hey, David, excuse me. I'm not seeing your screen, so make sure you've shared your screen correctly, okay?
Oh, you know, I did click on it, and so there we go. Let's try that again.
Excellent.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that.
You bet.
So we will start that again. Apologies. But you can see after 6 weeks of using X39 how she had this dramatic reduction in lines and wrinkles. Now, she continued to use X39 for a year, and you can see the result was dramatic. Most people think that she looks 10 years younger after a year of using X39. And this is really important because X39 allows the cells of the body to behave like younger, healthier cells. And this is what we're seeing in our clinical studies, is that there are these initial benefits that people get within the first day, within the first week, within the first 6 weeks, and then the benefits continue as you use the patches. So this is really exciting. Sometimes we focus on the immediate benefits, but it's great to know that there are long-term benefits as well. Now, speaking of short-term benefits, I'm going to apologize because this image is a little graphic. This is a 13-year-old boy, and he slipped and fell and severed his ear on a glass table. And his parents, they rushed him to the hospital, and you can see that he had to get stitches to mend his ear. Now, normally this would take many, many weeks to heal. But this is what happened after only 12 days of X39. We can see that there was a remarkable improvement. Normally, this might take 6 or 8 weeks to see an injury like this heal. But here it is, after only 12 days of X39, remarkable effect. Now, one other that I know that you haven't seen. This is a fellow that lives here in Texas. His name is George. And he was up working on a ladder. He slipped and he fell. And he came crashing down and hit his head and the area around his eye. And he right away, when he got home, he started to apply patches all around his face for the pain relief. And of course, he was using X39. And less than 2 weeks later, he was back up and around, and you can see dramatic change in under 2 weeks. Now, this is especially interesting because he is over the age of 60. And we would expect that someone over the age of 60 would not heal as quickly. So this is a remarkable effect. So these are some important things that we're seeing in our clinical studies and also in real life. So let's dig into this now in a little bit more detail. And we're going to talk about some studies that we've done where we've documented these effects. Now, the first study that we've done, it is a double-blind placebo-controlled study. And we're going to look at the way the body metabolizes nutrients. So we can see exactly how does something like wound healing take place with X39. We've also had reports that people have had an improvement in their memory. So we're going to look at that in this clinical study. We've had people tell us they get better sleep with X39. So that's something else that we look at in this study. And we're also going to be looking at the health and the vitality of the heart. Now, in this study, there's a few important things. First, all of the participants were over the age of 40. Now, by the time people get over the age of 40, there is a decline in stem cell activity. It's really noticeable after the age of 60. By the time someone is over the age of 60, the stem cell activity is down 60 to 80%. So that's an important group to look at. Now, we also want to know what happens within the first 24 hours of using X39. Are there any changes that we can measure? And the answer is absolutely yes. Now, that's so exciting from the perspective of building a business, because imagine now we have scientific proof that you apply the patch and even within the first day, people will experience benefits. We also took urine samples and measurements after 1 week. And again, we see important changes in the body in only 1 week of using X39. Now, this was a population of 50 people, and the study was done to scientific standards. Now, the average age of people in this study was 63. And again, that's important because if the product works for people over the age of 60, it's going to work on everybody. We also, again, want to look at a number of parameters. We want to use urine samples. So we have these, what are called objective measures. And we also want to use clinical questionnaires to find out how people are doing in different parts of their life with using X39. Now, we got some very important results with this study. The first thing is we found out that X39 will do things like support the body and help the body recover from exercise. So for those of you that like to swim or weightlift or run or bike, and you're usually sore the next day, X39 is going to help support the recovery of your body after exercise. For injury repair, that's a natural process, but usually it takes a long time for the body to heal an injury. what we found is that X39 improves the body's metabolism and helps support the natural wound healing process. And this is why we see people recover from these injuries so quickly. We also found out in this study that X39 will improve the memory. And it does that in only 7 days. Now, this is a big concern for people over the age of 60. It's a concern for all of us. Are we going to lose any of our sharpness or our memory or our focus as we age? And the good news is that now we have a very powerful tool to help support our memory, even after the age of 60. And this is really dramatic when you think about it, that a product could improve memory in only 7 days. Now, about 70% of the population has a problem with their sleep. And we found that X39 produced biochemical changes, hormonal changes in the brain that led to an improvement in sleep the very first night of use. So if you're using X39 during the day, you can remove it and then you'll find out that you'll sleep better that night. We also found that people's energy and vitality was improving the very first week. So this is exciting now because you're going to be presenting X39 and recommending it, and you'll know that within the first week of someone using the product that they're going to be feeling better and have more energy. Now, we also wanted to find out, would X39 improve the health of the heart? And this was exciting because we found some really important improvements. The first thing is, within the first week in this study, these 50 people, they saw a reduction in their blood pressure if the blood pressure was high. This will not reduce blood pressure if your blood pressure is already normal or low. X39 helps produce a relaxation response in the heart. And this is through improvement of the way the muscle contractions work in the heart. We measure this with something called heart rate variability. And even the breathing becomes better with X39. So these are very important findings, and it just simply means that when you use X39, almost every aspect of your health is going to improve. So that's very, very exciting. Now, of course, how does X39 work? Well, X39 works with light. And you apply the patch, and it stimulates the skin with light, and this will cause an increase in the production of what's called GHK, or copper peptide. And so, of course, we have to have proof that this happens. So we did a blood study to prove that X39 elevates copper peptide with light. This study, by the way, was just published in peer review, and we did hit statistical significance. Now, this was our first pilot study with X39, and since then we have 2 additional blood studies to show that X39 elevates copper peptide. Now, again, the average age of the person in this study was 64. And this is, again, is important because copper peptide levels drop by about 60% after the age of 60. So this is a good age group to study. We also wanted to find out, could we elevate copper peptide the first 24 hours? And then what would happen the first 7 days? And this would give us an idea of how quickly we could improve someone's health. And what we found was fantastic. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with statistics, we want to see something called a p-value that is less than 0.05. This is a statistical measure. And our p-values were very, very low. That means that we proved that X39 elevates copper peptide. During the first 24 hours, X39 is going to elevate GHK, and GHK binds with copper to form copper peptide. And then, of course, we see that this continues, and after the first week, we get statistical significance again on the increase in copper peptide. So this simply means you put on an X39 patch, we can measure the changes in your blood, and we can see your blood improving. So that's really remarkable. Now, in the urine study by Dr. Connor, we were able to find out that X39 improves the memory. So what is changing in the brain to improve the memory? To answer this question, we did a clinical study doing a mapping of the brain using a very new technology. And this study was performed by a French scientist by the name of Dr. Gaetan Chevalier. Dr. Chevalier has done research work in the United States at UCLA, and he is also a nuclear engineer, a nuclear scientist. So he is very qualified to do the type of research that we're doing. Now, when the brain is mapped, it simply means that we're going to look at the activity of the brain waves at different areas in the brain. If you were to see this device, it looks something like a helmet, and it's got electrodes at different areas. And this allows the operator to see the speed of the brain waves. Now, when the brain waves are moving quickly, this is usually a sign that the person is awake and they're going about their day doing something. As we get into a more relaxed state, the brain waves slow down, and this is what we would call an alpha state. During sleep, the brain waves slow down even more into a theta and delta state, and the theta and delta state are associated with healing. So this is one of the reasons why sleep is so important. Now, also, this was our first brain mapping study, but we did also proceed to a larger study with 50 people. But here we have 12 people between the ages of 50 and 80. Now, again, this is important because after the age of 50 is when people start to experience a decline in their brain function. Also, we're not going to be working in this study with people that are using drugs, people that are not consuming large amounts of alcohol. We don't want any of those things to interfere with the results of the study. Now, this first image is from a woman 77 years old. And there's a few important things here. The first thing is that a person over the age of 70 would be expected to have little to no stem cell activity. So think about that. We have a product that's designed to activate stem cells. What's going to happen if this is applied to someone that may not have very much stem cell activity. We got the answer. The product still works great, and that's important. Now, the second thing is we see here in session 1, this is the reading taken before X39 is applied. Now, these red zones would indicate areas of agitation or very fast moving brain waves. And when we do the analysis, what we find is that the different regions of the brain are not talking to one another. This is a state that's called incoherence, and it does not lead to good health. We want the different regions of the brain communicating with one another. Now, the woman wears the X39 patch for only 3 weeks, and you can see in the middle image the dramatic change that occurs. Now we would say this woman is more relaxed, she's more calm, and importantly, her brain has gone into a healthy state. And this continues to improve after 6 weeks of use. So this is a very dramatic change over a period of 3 to 6 weeks. Now let's look at someone else. This is a woman 67 years old. Again, over the age of 60, we would expect very little stem cell activity. And this woman is actually in pretty bad shape. She must have an underlying health condition. And she would be in extreme state of anxiety and stress and agitation. So this has probably been a condition that's been going on a long time with her. Yet, even though this has been going on a long time, after only 3 weeks of X39, dramatic improvement. And again, a complete change from where she was at the start of the program. Only 6 weeks and a dramatic improvement. Now, here's a 67-year-old man. Again, we see a state of agitation and stress. After 3 weeks, we begin to get an important shift and a dramatic change after 6 weeks. And just one more. Here's another man, 69 years old. Again, you wouldn't expect any stem cell activity, and a very dramatic improvement over a period of 3 to 6 weeks. So this is really all to say that X39 can produce dramatic improvements in your health. We've done this through biochemical analysis, doing a blood study, doing EEG testing, checking the heart, and we see that X39 improves every facet of the health. So if you're looking for a way to improve your memory, support the health of your heart, support the metabolism, support your wound healing, get more energy, have better sleep, all of this and more we can get with one product. And it all starts by activating the stem cells in your body with light. So Jim, these are 3 clinical studies, and of course, we have more clinical studies that we've done that support these that we'll be sharing with our members in the future. But it's so exciting to see how important and how far-reaching the effects of X39 really are.
And, I'm sure that as people, kind of contemplate, they think about what you've just shown them. You think about the speed. You talked about what's the normal expectation on the part of a world-class scientist that's doing things similarly to what you just did and what you were able to find out with X39 and how it performed. They talk 6 months, they talk a year, they talk a long time, and you talk 24 hours, 6 days, 3 weeks. The science is so unique, but it works so fast. Did you even imagine that it would work this quick yourself? when you first, designed this technology?
Jim, this has really been a evolution. We started with the company with the idea that we were going to provide products to improve energy, provide pain relief and pain management, improve sleep. And that was really the beginning of the company. And as I began to do more research with this and do clinical studies, we found very, very powerful anti-aging effects. And of course, that's where the company was. And, over the period of 10 years of developing X39, we saw very, very dramatic things with all the different technologies that we developed in our laboratory. And what's really been so amazing about this is that researchers around the world are trying to solve this problem by injecting stem cells in the body. And the fact of the matter is that what we've found is that it's actually more effective to do this with light, and you get these incredibly rapid improvements. So you would see when you start out with a project like this that getting results this quickly might not be possible. But then, when you see it for yourself and you do the studies, it's really incredible that this is possible and people can benefit from it. And it doesn't cost very much.
Well, and think about what you're saying. I mean, everyone's heard of the billions of dollars being spent by leading research science centers, colleges, universities across the world, the best of the best. All the big pharma companies are throwing so much money at all of this having to do with stem cells. And yet they haven't come close to being able to do what you've managed to do with the technology. And we're not injecting anything. You're just taking what's already there and kind of activating. I mean, it's phenomenal what this really means for every individual, every member watching right now and listening there in Taiwan. Think what you have. Think what David has done. I mean, every time I hear David talk about it, and David, as you go through these things, I've seen all this before, I have. But every time I hear it, it does make you realize how amazing the opportunity is for all of us, that we have the world's only technology that does what you just described.
Yeah, and when you see, I started out with those pictures of some of the benefits that people have been experiencing with X39, and who doesn't want to look 10 years younger after a year of using the product? Who doesn't want to have a tool where if they get injured, they can heal rapidly, right? We all want to be able to have these things. And of course, having energy in your day-to-day life, being able to get a good night's sleep, having less stress, all these benefits are really remarkable. And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. People spend thousands of dollars to get a single injection of stem cells. And we've managed to put together a technology, support it with research, and bring it to people at a price that they can afford.
And just a quick anecdote on what you just said right there. I've had the pleasure of visiting with someone who is what they call a challenged athlete. Okay. He's paralyzed from like the chest down. And years ago, he went to Panama, spent, I don't know, $8,000, $10,000 US on stem cell injections. And he did admit that, okay, yeah, something like 6 months later, I noticed there was something beneficial going on. So then he hears about, through word of mouth, X39 and what we were doing, activating stem cells. So he instantly was curious, tried the product, and like that, he noticed changes, David, with just like you've described, 24 hours, a week. He couldn't believe it. And he said, my gosh, it cost virtually nothing compared to the thousands and thousands of dollars I spent over there. And it took forever to have results. So it is amazing, the speed, the efficacy, what it really means. And we're just getting started, aren't we? What does the future look like? Can you tell us some things?
Well, well, Jim, you know what the future looks like. Yeah, what I'd say is X39 is the beginning of our stem cell journey. And it took 10 years to get to where we are today. But the stem cell story is not over for us. We have a plan of where we're going the next 10 years with our products. And what we want to do is put tools and products into the hands of people that will support their overall wellness, their overall healing. And the bottom line is the direction we want to go in is that people can stay younger longer. And of course, the ultimate goal is we want to have age reversal. And this used to be thought of as being science fiction, but we see this in our clinical studies all the time and in real life. People use the products and they look and they feel younger. Jim, I didn't have a chance to tell you this, but as you know, last month I turned 57. And just this week, we have, of course, American football. And in order to become an American football player, professional, when you turn 22, you have to pass a certain test. And that test is you have to be able to bench press 225 pounds 15 times. And this week, I bench pressed 225 pounds 19 times.
Whoa.
So at my age, I would qualify to be an American football player, and that's usually something a 22-year-old would qualify for. So I was delighted that on my 57th birthday that I hit that.
I think I can hear everybody in Taiwan right now. They're cheering, they're clapping. Good for you, David. That is one heck of a milestone, and you've definitely got some bragging rights there because, sorry, I can't bench press 225 pounds 19 times. Okay, can't do it.
That was just a goal. Every year, I try to set a physical goal for myself, and try to do a little bit better than the year before. And I can't tell you why I wanted to do that. I think I had just seen that on the news, and I thought, oh, that might be, something fun to try. But the point is that we're used to thinking in terms of age as being a barrier, and it doesn't have to be. We're told that you're born, you age, and you die, and that used to be true. And for most people, it's still true. But with scientific advancements now, and this is of course research that's also going on at big universities like Harvard and Stanford, the secrets of aging are being unlocked. And what we see in our laboratory is that older cells can turn into younger, healthier cells. And so the trick is, of course, how do we apply this to people? And X39 is an important part of that story and gets us about a third of the way there. So that to me there's nothing more exciting to me than age reversal and staying young and healthy.
Well, you've talked about it for a long time. And, to that point, you do always point out that, it's important that a person get enough sleep, hydrate, drink enough water, work to eat the right things, right? Work to take stress out of your life. I mean, a healthy lifestyle does make a difference in the ability of this technology to perform, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. No one should think that they can put the patch on and neglect other parts of their life. So if you want to have optimum health and performance, you really need to be thinking about drinking plenty of water and having a diet that is balanced, with fruits and vegetables and adequate protein and healthy fats, getting enough sleep. If your nutrition is lacking somewhere, maybe taking a vitamin supplement and these types of things. And then people can get the most benefit out of the patches. But if people are going to neglect those areas, they shouldn't expect to get the best results with the patches. This is a thing where we want to promote a healthy lifestyle, and all of those things are part of an overall healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, and in Taiwan, I think about what's happening there and the dramatic growth that's already occurred because of this amazing technology.
X39 is now available in the Philippines, Please contact us for more details at 0916 643 3928 at 0916 643 3928.